Much love, peace, and blessings to all the entities out there, everywhere. All right, now this is another segment here of the series, some of my library. All right, this first book here I'm going to talk about, not really talk about, but show you, is a good book. And this book is kind of old, but if you want to actually get a different perspective on some things, published 1954. The cover has some symbolism on it. I don't know if you can see that or read what type of language that is. But the book is it's a series of books, and this is just the first one. It's called The Story of Civilization, speaking of civilized societies, Sumeria to Rome to America. You see what I'm saying? And it is written by Will Durant, and it is called Our Oriental Heritage. This book right here, if you go and you read these subjects and listen to these shows, Michael Cremo, David Hatcher Childress, and all of these people on our alternative history and our forbidden archaeology and things, um, include some of this reading. You can just use it as a reference book if you want to, because it has a great index in the back that takes you straight to the page if you just are looking up certain words for certain time periods. And it it's a pretty good series. Our Oriental Heritage. It's a pretty good view of the story of humanity. And it's a little bit different than the history books that are given to you in school. A little different. You'll see if you ever decide to pick it up and take a look. This one right here is it's a Reader's Digest. It's an old school, 1966 publishing, and it has quite a few good stories in it. They're short stories, of course, but all of these stories are to make you think. It has stories like Captain Dreyfus, the Great Iron Ship, some Americans from Hawaii. Those in the sovereignty movement should look into that story there. Um, the story of Ernie Pyle, uh, A Man Against the Sanity is a good one. Tiger of the Snows, Reputation, for those in the sovereignty movement, is another good one to look up. But it is titled 24 Great Books, simply titled Reader's Digest. And of course, Reader's Digest, anyone can send in a story and have it published in the Reader's Digest. But then, of course, they have to approve it and so on and so forth. Just part of my classic library, classic literature library. Not really classical, but probably will be in another 50 years. Um, Another one I think is an excellent artist. A lot of analogies, a lot of symbolism in the works of this individual, and symbolism. The author is Voltaire. For those that don't know who Voltaire is, any of you in that's into philosophy, that's into theology, that's into the freedom fighter movement or into V for Vendetta, and wonder where some of these concepts came from, where a lot of these early writers and philosophers, they philosophized, which is an actual word, philosophized, on political satire. And this man right here, his life was built on political satire. He actually spent time in one of the most feared jails in history. They locked this man up in the Bastille for like a year, and he had entertained with his stories many royalty. And this man actually he wrote some good works. And if you look into his stuff, you'll find that the works are not just the under outlying meaning. And he also, a lot of the series that I showed you, Shakespeare, Francis Bacon, and they got the different series, they're basically collections. Voltaire is also one of those books in those collections. This one right here is basically someone summarizing his works and what his works are about. Basically, what this smaller book is right here. And this also I got at the library sale. As you can see, it's still got the code on it. And this one right here is for uh, Christians out there. Published 1936. It's quite an old book, but I'm sure you can find an updated version. Um, it's called The King's Good Servant, Oliver White, or Olive B. White. Sorry. Um, Interesting read. There's some knowledge to be gained from it. Uh, Perspectives and views, of course. I love them. Pretty good book. My classics collection, of course. And the last book I'm going to show, if anyone can guess what it is, it's 1001 Nights. This version right here, it's the Harvard Classics Deluxe Edition. This is one of the later renderings of these stories, which actually no one knows the exact origin of these stories. But there is one story, basically, and all of the smaller stories are a part of the bigger story. And the bigger story is that, well, I'll just, most people know what 1001 Nights are. But basically, each story was a night of this individual's life. In order for her to keep herself alive, she had to make these little stories and say, I will tell you the ending tomorrow so that you do not kill me. And basically, that's how she stayed alive. And that's where these stories came from. But 1001 Nights, um, good reading. I think it is anyway. It's a part of my collection. So what can I say? What can I say? But that's pretty much the end of what I'm going to show. Part of my classic section, classic literature section of my library there, and I'm going to go ahead and be out, and I'm probably going to make one or two more videos about this right now, my library. I may go on, I may just stop with those right there. I don't know, but I'll go ahead and I'll be back here in a minute. Much love, peace, and blessings to all the entities out there, and I shall see you soon.